Cruise lines made more money last year from hidden charges than from the actual ticket price you paid, and almost nobody realizes it until the final bill lands in their cabin on the last night. You booked this trip thinking the fare was the cost. It was never the cost, it was the bait. Every hallway, every menu, every friendly staff member, every flashing light on that casino floor was designed by a team of behavioral psychologists whose only job is to separate you from more of your money without you noticing. I spent weeks digging through former cruise employee interviews, passenger complaints, and internal training language, and what I found explains why so many people come home from a dream vacation to a credit card bill that makes their stomach drop. Today, I am exposing all 25 of these tricks, in order, starting with the one happening on the very last day of your cruise, the one most people never see coming. Before we get into secret number 1, if you want more breakdowns like this before your next cruise, make sure you are subscribed to Senior Cruise Secrets, because these tricks change every season, and missing one could cost you hundreds. Secret number 1, the last day chaos sale. On the final full day of your cruise, something changes in the air, the announcements get louder, the deals get bigger, and the ship suddenly feels like a department store on the day before closing. This is not a coincidence, it is a calculated push. Cruise lines know that once you accept the trip is ending, your guard drops. You start thinking in terms of memories instead of money, and you want one last souvenir to hold on to the feeling. Staff are trained to increase visibility of sales tables, jewelry counters, and photo packages on this exact day because impulse spending spikes when people feel a countdown ending. The move here is simple. Decide before the last day what you actually want to buy, write it down, and ignore anything marketed as a final chance, because most of those same items will be available again on your next cruise or online for less. Secret number 2, balcony cabins are inflated on value alone. Balcony rooms are marketed as the upgrade everyone should want. The photos show couples with coffee overlooking the ocean, and the price reflects that dream rather than the actual square footage or amenities inside. In reality, many balcony cabins are barely larger than an interior room. The balcony itself is often a narrow strip of deck with 2 chairs, and on many itineraries you spend so little daylight time in the cabin that the ocean view goes mostly unused. The price jump from interior to balcony can be hundreds of dollars for a feature you may use for 20 minutes a day. If you actually love watching the water, an interior cabin with a virtual balcony screen or simply spending time on the public promenade deck delivers the same experience for a fraction of the cost. Secret number 3, drink packages are a math trap. The drink package pitch sounds irresistible: unlimited cocktails, unlimited soda, unlimited coffee, one flat price, and you never think about it again. The math almost always favors the cruise line, not you. Packages are priced based on the assumption that you will drink enough premium cocktails every single day to break even, which most passengers never actually do once you factor in excursion days, seasickness, or simply slowing down after day 3. Staff are also trained to suggest the package heavily during the first hour on board, before you have any real sense of your actual drinking pace for the week. Track your first 2 days of ordering without the package, do simple math on what you actually spent, and only then decide if the package makes sense for the rest of the trip. Secret number 4, photographers manufacture fear of missing out. Every formal night, every port arrival, every dinner entrance, there is a photographer waiting with a backdrop and a big smile, and it feels rude to say no. That is exactly the design. The photos are free to take and completely optional to buy, but by the time you see them printed and displayed near the dining room days later, nostalgia has already kicked in, and the fear of not having a physical memory pushes people to buy prints they never intended to purchase. Prices for a single printed photo can rival what a professional photographer charges for an entire session on land. You are never obligated to buy a single image, and politely declining the pose in the moment saves you from ever facing that decision later. Secret number 5, art auctions run on pressure tactics. Onboard art auctions are staged with free champagne, energetic auctioneers, and a room full of people raising paddles, and the entire atmosphere is built to create urgency and social pressure rather than genuine art appreciation. Many of the pieces sold are mass-produced prints with inflated appraisal certificates that would never hold up with an independent art authenticator on land. The free drinks lower inhibition, the auctioneer creates a sense that everyone else is about to grab a deal, and the fine print on authenticity and resale value is rarely read closely in the moment. If art genuinely interests you, research the gallery and artist independently before you ever set foot in that auction room, because the appraisal number printed on the certificate is almost never what the piece would fetch anywhere else. Secret number 6. Shore excursion fear tactics. Cruise staff frequently warn that booking excursions independently is risky, that the ship might leave without you if you are late, and that only cruise-sponsored tours guarantee your safe return. Some of this caution is genuine, but a large portion is designed to push you toward the significantly more expensive ship-sponsored excursions instead of local operators offering the same activity for less. Independent tour companies near major ports work with cruise passengers constantly and build in buffer time specifically because they understand ship departure schedules. The actual rule that matters is simple. If you book directly through the cruise line and there is a delay, the ship will wait. If you book independently, you take on that timing responsibility yourself, which is a real consideration, but not the emergency it is often presented as. Let me pause here for a quick reminder. If this is opening your eyes to how these systems work, drop a comment with which secret surprised you most so far. It helps me know which topics to dig into deeper for the next video from Senior Cruise Secrets. Secret number 7. Cabin upgrades are never random generosity. Every so often, a passenger gets a surprise email saying their cabin has been upgraded at no extra charge, and it feels like a lucky gift from the universe. In most cases, it is inventory management, not kindness. Cruise lines overbook certain cabin categories anticipating cancellations, and when a lower category sells out faster than expected while a higher category sits empty, moving passengers up fills empty inventory and creates a feeling of goodwill that increases the odds you book that higher category directly next time. It is a smart business move dressed up as a favor, and there is nothing wrong with enjoying it. Just understand it is not personal, it is inventory math. Secret number 8. Free activities quietly lead to spending. Trivia contests, dance classes, and pool games are advertised as free entertainment, and they are, but they are also strategically placed near bars, specialty shops, and photo stations so that the walk to and from that free activity puts you directly in front of paid temptations at the exact moment you are relaxed and having fun. The layout of nearly every public deck is designed by consultants who study foot traffic patterns specifically to maximize incidental spending. Enjoying the free activities is completely fine. Just notice how often the path back to your cabin conveniently loops past a bar or a shop you were not planning to visit. Secret number 9. Convenience clouds your judgment. The entire ship is designed so that spending money requires almost no friction at all. Your room key charges purchases instantly. There is no cash changing hands, and no visible total building up until the final bill arrives on the last night. This convenience is intentional because research consistently shows that people spend more when payment feels invisible compared to handing over physical cash. Check your onboard account daily through the app rather than waiting until the final invoice, because seeing the running total in real time restores the friction that the system is designed to remove. Secret number 10. Duty-free is not always cheaper. The duty-free shops advertise savings compared to shopping on land, and technically the tax portion is removed, but the base price of many items is marked up before that tax savings is applied, meaning the final price can match or exceed what you would pay at a regular retail store back home. Perfume, liquor, and watches are the categories where this markup is most common. Before assuming duty-free means discount, check the regular retail price of a specific item on your phone using the ship Wi-Fi and compare directly rather than trusting the advertised percentage off. Secret number 11. The casino tracks you more than you think. Your player card at the casino does more than track points for free drinks. It feeds a detailed profile of your betting patterns, your session length, and your loss tolerance directly to a system designed to identify which offers will bring you back to the tables. Staff are trained to comp free drinks and small perks specifically at moments when your play is slowing down, because a small free reward at the right psychological moment extends your session significantly. None of this is illegal or even hidden if you read the fine print. It is simply built to work exactly the way modern casino floors on land are built to work, just contained inside a ship you cannot leave. Secret number 12. Spa raffles are a sales funnel. That free raffle ticket for a spa giveaway you picked up at the pool deck is rarely just a fun contest. It is a lead generation tool. Entering usually requires a phone number or cabin number, and winners, along with everyone who entered, receive a follow-up call inviting them to a consultation, which is really a scheduled sales appointment for expensive treatments and skincare products. The consultation itself often uses high-pressure techniques similar to timeshare presentations, with limited-time discounts that expire the moment you leave the room. Entering the raffle is fine. Just know exactly what that follow-up call actually is before you agree to attend any consultation. Secret number 13. Dining spending pressure. While main dining and buffet meals are included, the menu design on most ships subtly nudges you towards specialty restaurants and premium add-ons, whether through limited perceived variety in the free dining room or through servers upselling premium cuts of meat or seafood for a modest surcharge. Specialty dining reservations also tend to fill up fastest in the first 2 days, creating urgency to book quickly before you have compared value against the included options. There is nothing wrong with treating yourself to a specialty dinner. Just book it deliberately rather than reactively out of fear the good tables will disappear. This is a good place for a reminder. If you are planning your first cruise after 60 or your 50th, hit subscribe on Senior Cruise Secrets right now so the next breakdown lands in your feed before you book anything else. Secret number 14. Loyalty programs inflate their own value. Loyalty tiers promise discounts, priority boarding, and free perks that sound generous on paper. But the base fares available to loyalty members are frequently adjusted upward before the member discount is applied, meaning the final price after your discount can match or exceed what a brand new customer pays with no loyalty status at all. The perks that remain most valuable tend to be small conveniences like priority check-in rather than actual cash savings. Always compare your loyalty discounted price against a fresh incognito browser search with no account logged in before trusting that the member rate is genuinely the best available. Secret number 15. Wi-Fi packages are built to confuse. Wi-Fi pricing on most ships is presented in a confusing tangle of speed tiers, device limits, and daily versus full cruise pricing, specifically because confusion leads passengers to either overpay for more than they need or underpay and then get frustrated into upgrading mid-cruise at a worse rate. The device limit trap is especially common, where a single package advertised for the whole cabin actually only covers one device at a time unless you pay significantly more. Before purchasing, ask guest services directly how many simultaneous devices are covered and whether streaming is throttled, because those two details determine almost the entire value of the package. Secret number 16. Port talks are sales presentations. The onboard port talk is presented as helpful travel information about your upcoming destination, and some of it genuinely is, but a significant portion of the session is a scripted pitch for shopping recommendations at specific jewelry and duty-free stores that pay the cruise line for that exclusive endorsement. Passengers who follow those store recommendations often assume they are getting vetted quality and fair pricing because the cruise line mentioned it, when in reality, the relationship is a paid partnership. Enjoy the destination information, but treat the shopping recommendations with the same skepticism you would give any paid advertisement. Secret number 17. The advertised fare was never the real cost. The headline price that got you interested in this cruise in the first place almost never reflects what you will actually pay once gratuities, port fees, taxes, and at least one specialty experience are added in. Cruise lines advertise the lowest possible number specifically because that low number is what appears in search results and comparisons in sites, drawing you in before the full cost structure is revealed during checkout. By the time most passengers reach the final payment page, they have already emotionally committed to the trip and are far less likely to walk away over the added fees. Always request the fully loaded price including gratuities and fees before comparing cruise lines against each other. Secret number 18. Private islands are a markup trap. Cruise line-owned private islands are marketed as an exclusive untouched paradise included in your cruise fare, and the beach access itself usually is included, But nearly everything else on that island, from beach chair rentals to food stations to water sport equipment, carries a markup well above what you would pay at a comparable public beach destination. Because you have no alternative vendor to compare prices against on a private island the cruise line controls entirely, there is no competitive pressure keeping those prices reasonable. Bring your own snorkel gear, snacks, and reusable water bottle if you want to actually experience the free part of that island without the add-on costs. Secret number 19. Onboard credit is not free money. Onboard credit sounds like the cruise line is simply giving you cash to spend, but in practice, most onboard credit expires unused if not spent by the final night, cannot be redeemed for cash, and is frequently structured to nudge you towards spending categories like specialty dining or spa treatments rather than simply reducing your bill. Many passengers who received a generous-sounding credit end up spending beyond that credit amount because the presence of a balance to use encourages additional purchases they would not have otherwise made. Treat onboard credit as a budget ceiling to stay under, not a bonus to spend beyond. Secret number 20. Early boarding is not always better. Priority and early boarding sound like a clear advantage, and getting onto the ship first does have real benefits like avoiding long lines, but it also means you are on board for hours before your actual cabin is ready, during which time the ship funnels early boarders directly toward the buffet, the bars, and the shops as the only available activities. This extended window before cabins open is precisely when impulse purchases and drink package sign-ups spike because boredom combined with excitement about the trip starting is a powerful spending trigger. If you board early, set a personal spending limit for that pre-cabin window specifically, since it behaves very differently from the rest of your trip. Secret number 21. Family travel is never as cheap as advertised. Cruise lines market family rates using a base occupancy of 2 passengers per cabin, and the advertised low price you see in commercials almost always assumes exactly that occupancy, meaning a family of 4 or 5 will pay significantly more per additional person than the headline price suggests, on top of gratuities and fees calculated per passenger rather than per cabin. Kids clubs, arcade credits, and specialty snacks add further costs that rarely appear in the initial family vacation pitch. When budgeting a family cruise, calculate the full per-person total including all extras before comparing it against a land-based family vacation because the gap is often much smaller than the advertising suggests. Secret number 22. Discount programs create false urgency. Flash sales, countdown timers on the booking website, and limited cabin availability warnings are almost always artificial pressure rather than genuine scarcity, because cruise lines can and do release additional discounted cabins the moment demand justifies it. The countdown clock resetting after it hits 0, or the same discount reappearing again the following week, is common enough that longtime cruisers rarely trust the urgency messaging at all. If a deal genuinely fits your plans, book it, but never let a countdown timer alone push you into a decision you were not already leaning toward. Secret number 23. Staff friendliness is monetized. The warmth and personal attention from your cabin steward, bartender, and dining staff is genuine in the sense that these are real relationships built over your week on board, but it is also carefully trained behavior because staff income depends heavily on tips and upselling, and remembering your name or your favorite drink creates a sense of personal connection that makes both generous tipping and accepting upsell suggestions feel like supporting a friend rather than completing a transaction. This does not make the kindness fake. It simply means the business model is built around that genuine warmth translating into revenue, and understanding that helps you tip and spend intentionally rather than out of social pressure alone. Secret number 24. The contract gives the cruise line enormous power. Buried in the ticket contract you agreed to when booking is language giving the cruise line broad authority to change itineraries, ports, and even onboard policies without the compensation most passengers assume they are entitled to. Missed ports due to weather or logistics typically come with no refund at all, since the contract defines the cruise as the overall experience rather than a guarantee of any specific stop. Reading the passenger contract before booking, particularly the sections on itinerary changes and compensation, sets realistic expectations, and prevents the shock many passengers feel when a much-anticipated port gets canceled with only a small onboard credit offered in return. Secret number 25. The medical center is extremely expensive. The onboard medical center is convenient and often necessary, but pricing operates more like an out-of-network emergency room than a normal doctor visit, and most travel insurance policies do not automatically cover cruise ship medical costs at the rate you would expect from land-based care. A simple consultation, a prescription, or a minor procedure can carry a bill running into the hundreds or even low thousands of dollars, charged directly to your onboard account before you ever see an itemized breakdown. Purchasing dedicated cruise-specific travel insurance before departure and confirming exactly what medical costs it covers is the single most effective protection against this particular surprise. 25 secrets, and every single one of them exists for the same underlying reason. A cruise ship is not just a vacation. It is one of the most carefully engineered spending environments ever built, designed by people who study exactly how relaxed, happy travelers make decisions. None of this means you should avoid cruising. It simply means you should board with your eyes open instead of your guard down. If this video saved you from even one of these traps, that is exactly why Senior Cruise Secrets exists. So subscribe, share this with anyone booking a cruise this year, and let me know in the comments which of these 25 secrets you had absolutely no idea about, because your next cruise should feel like the vacation you paid for, not the one they upsold you into.